Okay, I'm Jack Davis. I call the meeting of the RTM Finance and Budget Committee to order on the 28th of December at 2:30. Having a quorum, let's get going. I need a motion to move Resolution 20-27 for the representative town meeting of the town of Darien to establish a program to provide relief and support to eligible taxpayers, businesses, nonprofits, and residents who may have been economically affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Do I have somebody moving that?
I'll move it.
So moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I saw Beth as a second. I sent out, only because I want to get this to the members of the RTM today prior to the meeting, a proposal for what our report will be, but it's a good flow to what's going on and why we're here. Let's just start with the governor issued on December 16th an executive order number 9R, which extended benefits under the executive order 7S as they apply to tax deadlines and collection efforts for tax bills due and payable on January 1st. If members may recall, the F&B committee and the RTM approved a similar resolution from Executive Order 7S, Resolution 20-13 on April 27th. So some people, if you read the executive order, may be asking, why are we here? Because it basically says, if you do nothing, you will continue with the same program you had before. But similar to several other executive orders that have been done, it was a little bit vague about who was to approve the fact that we were staying the course or stay as is. What is mentioned there is the selectmen and the legislative body. So in discussions with the Board of Selectmen, Town Council, and members of the RTM, it was determined that the best approach was to be inclusive of said determination and approval, and have both the Board of Selectmen and the board and the RTM approve the program that we are going to be staying the course. So on Wednesday, December 23rd, the Board of Selectmen met in a joint meeting with the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance did a sense of the meeting to approve and move forward the deferral for eligible taxpayers as set forth by the OPM of the state, and move forward to that. It was unanimous, the sense of approval by the Board of Finance. The Board of Selectmen had a unanimous vote after discussion to move this forward. And so that's what's in front of us now. As I mentioned, this would be a tax deferment. It is not a tax elimination for 90 days, where anything that is due January 1st is extended to be due April 1st, and with no penalty, providing one qualifies and meets the criteria as established by the OPM. I did want to go through some of the data that was provided by Kathy Larkin, our tax collector, on the last deferral that we had. There were in total 62 applicants that were approved for a total of $624,000. 463,000 was commercial with 27, and 161 or 35 applicants were residential. Almost the entire commercial side paid by the deadline, which I believe was October 2nd or 3rd. And the residential, we had 95%. So there was an outstanding balance of 8,300 and less than 1,000 for the commercial. Anyone who had not paid by that deadline that was given is now being assessed, are assessed to 1.5% per month interest charge, which relates to 18% annually. I want to reiterate that escrow taxes cannot participate, and based upon the electronic files that were sent to escrow agents by the tax collector in mid-November, there are about 37% or 23.8 million of the 64 million that we expect in January are escrowed. The remaining 40 million are not escrowed. Some additional information about what occurred in our last deferral. It appears that several applicants missed the first deferral's deadline and were unable to participate in the program. We are anticipating that those taxpayers or entities will not miss this deadline. The second thing is we anticipate that there will be more people applying due to the length and severity of the pandemic, so that it may in fact increase the total number that we had in the first one. There was a silver lining that Kathy mentioned, which was in order to participate, you had to be up to date on your taxes. So there were several past due amounts that were paid and collected so that the taxpayer could in fact participate in this program. I do want to briefly review the three options that are there. There were two overall types of programs. One was a deferment program. The second was a low interest rate. Under the deferment program, there were two options. It could be offer to eligible taxpayers who have been financially affected to have the deferral, or you could offer it to all taxpayers. The town and all the individuals who worked on this all agreed that it is the first option and only available to eligible taxpayers who've been financially affected and meet the criteria as set forth by the state. The second program, which was not agreed to after significant research, was to have a low interest rate program for everyone. And instead of it being a 1.5% monthly past due, it was a 25 basis point or 0.25% per month or 3% annualized for 90 days. And this might have affected our cash flow, and also it was basically giving an interest-free loan to everyone, which wasn't a good financial solution. The reason, again, that I'm mentioning this is I want to make sure that there's clarity in reading both the resolution by the Board of Selectmen as well as the our resolution, that the option that we are selecting is the deferment program to eligible taxpayers who have been financially affected by the pandemic. It's option 1A. So I didn't want there to be any confusion on what's going on. I also want to say that there were various estimates of what this might be going forward in this January 1st payment period, and that it might be over $1 million as opposed to the $625,000. That being said, let's remember the town, this is nothing more than a cash flow issue. The town reserves are in good standing with over 20 million in the general fund. It should also be noted that there will be minimal financial impact to the town, even at a over $1 million deferral. So looking at the opportunity cost, even if the total deferment doubled to size to 1.2 million, the potential earnings for 90 days in this current low rate environment is minuscule. Not even minimal, it's minuscule. It's less than $500. And so I think that we can help many of our businesses and many of our taxpayers by moving forward. The other thing for anybody who's listening to F&B's meeting, and this quote comes from Kathy Larkin, who's done phenomenal work on this, is that a link for the application will be on the tax collector's page of the town website and must be submitted to the tax collector, Kathy Larkin, on or before February 1st, 2021. And I want to stress that there is a deadline for these applications. So that's basically it. And it's good to get the word out for anybody who you know might need this. This is open to not just profitable business. If you read the heading, it's also for nonprofits that may have certain taxable properties. So that's basically our report and the information that I have on this. Are there any questions, discussions, or anything else that anybody wants to say?
When are we deferring these? So it's January's taxes that are getting deferred till when?
Till April 1st.
Okay, and then the taxes that we deferred, originally you deferred April's taxes to July?
Those are now in, for the small amount that hasn't been collected, which is about less than $9,000. Those are currently being charged a 1.5% penalty for lack of payment.
Will they be included? Will they be
No,
deferred?
no, they are not deferrable. No,
And why not?
because the governor said so.
Okay, so we can only defer the January tax. We can't, for the people who are having a hard time paying the last little bit of the April taxes, we can't defer them just because we're deferring everybody else. They can't just keep being deferred till this pandemic's over.
No, and the fact of the
That's
matter
too
is, yeah, yes, it's a small amount, and some of it, understand the deferral from April to July included not just real estate taxes, it could have been sewer charges, it could have been personal property taxes on equipment due for business. It was a slew of various small amounts. And so, but as I said, the good news is we do expect that we will receive payment on that $8,000. For any of those that want to participate in this current program, they have to make their existing tax due current. So, you know,
Isn't that
yes,
kind
it
of
would.
the purpose of people who need a break, getting a break, if they have to become current to get deferred again? I think that I'm in favor of the deferral. Don't get me wrong. I just think that it seems a little silly that we can't just go ahead and defer these other people till April too. Just, if you're hurting, you're hurting, you know?
Iris, I would tell you that you are asking the exact same questions I asked Kate on this, of whether or not they would be, but you know, I'm hopeful that people are, especially since this will be a larger amount, understand that they have to pay by April 1st their deferment, and don't not pay in anticipation that the governor may issue a third executive order deferring the April 1st through July 1st taxes due. So that
I have a question, and I don't know whether this is the right forum to ask it. How do people find out that they are qualified?
as I said, the forms will be on the tax collector's page on the town's website. There will be information on there. regarding, as well as the application. Or if they have questions, you know, they can call the tax collector's office. I will say from my own personal working with on more than one issue, that she's super in working with our taxpayers and getting their answers. So if,
Yes.
you know, you can send an email to Kathy, you can go on the website. I think that's how it is. You have to understand is not only do they have to have their application in, but Kathy has to sign off on every application. So she knows what the criteria is extremely well.
Who
I guess-
set the criteria?
My question is even more
The
basic.
secretary of the OPM for the state.
I guess my question is even more basic than that, Jack. How do people even know that there is this tax deferral, and how do they know about going to the website to apply for it?
In the paper, probably.
Is there
Well,
some notification in the papers, or I mean, I can
there will be a
imagine.
notification. There was already an article that started in the paper about this. Kathy's going to have a news release to be issued on it. I'm pretty sure that she will be going above and beyond by contacting the people who had deferments before, as well as those that missed. I mean, I can't speak to her, but knowing Kathy, I would anticipate that's how she operates. No. Any other questions? Are we ready to vote? Good, I needed Mike back if we're gonna vote.
Yeah, Jack, sorry. Do you want to ask for any, as you've done before in this era of virtual meetings, any objections, any abstentions, and go from there, unanimous, if that's the case?
We can do it that way, that works out well. Are
Sure.
there any abstentions? Hearing none, are there any objections? So I'm assuming that we're all unanimous. We can say aye to everyone. And Mike, do you have the count of how many people we have?
Yes, Jack, we have 13.
Okay, super, because I need that for my report.
So we have 13, I would say.
So we have one other little bit of item while we're here for cleanup. I need somebody to move the approval of the minutes for October. What October date? I have it in front of me.
The
Something.
15th. The 15th.
The 15th. Do I
Yeah,
have it
Lisa.
moved?
You have Lisa.
So moved.
You have
Okay,
Lisa.
do I have
and-
a second? I have
Lisa.
Jan as a second. Are there any changes or discussion on the minutes as submitted?
Excuse me, Jack, I don't think I meant to second. I have to abstain because I was not at that meeting.
Actually,
I'll second.
New Rochester Rules of Order says you do not need to abstain if you were not there because you are voting on whether or not the minutes were properly prepared. And being that Mike is doing them, I can attest to the fact that they were.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Jack.
You're more
So
than welcome.
I have Lisa moved it, and was that Stacy who seconded?
Jan,
Sure.
Oh, Jan. Okay, Jan. Thank you, Jan.
Okay, so I'm going to do this quickly. Are there any abstentions? Hearing none. Are there any noes? Hearing none. By voice vote, let's all say aye.
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 They're so approved. I want to wish everyone a safe and healthy and prosperous new year, even though we'll see each other tonight. And my new sign off is, And please remember to lock your car doors. Saying that,
I'll second that.
absolutely. Let's give our police officers a break here in town.
Exactly.
Yeah, really. I'll take a motion to adjourn. Do I hear it?
I'll move.
Motion.
Tracy
Second.
got this.
I got it from Beth. Do I have a second? There were about 13 seconds. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Mike, for running this for us as always.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Bye.
We
This
can
conference
go.
is no
Bye.
longer being recorded.
Bye.